to another vlog. This is teacher Jessamay Alvinta, and for this video we are going to talk about the 10 ways to teach grammar effectively and 10 grammar rules. Before that, please like and subscribe. As a teacher, sometimes we are thinking what are the best ways in order to teach effectively about grammar to our students. For this video, you are going to learn and earn knowledge. Now, let's start for the 10 ways in order to teach grammar effectively. First is, in discussing the grammar rule, it should be explained by its meaning, form, and example. The meaning of the grammar rule should be explained very well, and it should be gradual. It should be brief as possible in order for the student to easily grab the information. Then, its form or structure, like for example, what will come first? Is it the subject or the verb? Or what tense should be used? Is it the present tense, past tense, or the future tense? This will help the students determine what kind of grammar rule is that and can easily provide example. Then, of course, after that, the teacher will provide examples for the student to fully understand the rule. Second way, the term should be simple and understandable. In giving the meaning, the words or terms that will be used should be simple and students can easily understand the meaning of such rule, especially those students who are in low year level. The words should be appropriate to their level of understanding. For the third way, the examples should be or have relevance to the students' day-to-day life. In giving examples, the teacher should make examples that the students can relate. It should be meaningful and can be applied to the real-life situation. Like, for example, the scenario would be planning their future or remembering the past. Fourth way, ask the learners about what they have noticed on example. Upon giving the example, you will ask the students on their observation. By this, the teacher will now have idea on the knowledge of the students. And for the students, this will serve as hints or pattern that can be used in the succeeding examples. Like for example, the sentence is, she bakes a cake. Then the students will say that the verb has S. Then the teacher will say, yes, that is because the subject is only one, so we will use the verb with S on our sentence. Fifth way, in providing the examples, let the student determine the correct and wrong example. In this way of teaching, the teacher will provide examples and then the students will identify or determine the exact example. For example, the sentence would be, he ate fruit, and he ate fruit. With this, the learners will now have idea on the difference by the two examples. And if ever they will choose the correct example, they will justify it, and the teacher can now say that the student really learned the lesson. And if ever they will choose the wrong one, then the teacher will correct them. Now we are down to our sixth way. Provide an engaging activity in teaching grammar. After explaining the rule and example, the teacher will now make an activity that the students can enjoy at the same time learning. The student could be collaborative or individual. Like for example, role-playing in which they will portray some characters using such grammar rule. By this, the students will love and motivate to participate because they are enjoying at the same time they are learning. For the seventh way, at the end of the discussion, let the students provide their own example. Now let the learners create their own example. This will serve as an evaluation for the teacher to determine if the student understands the topic. If ever the student failed to do the task, the teacher will now change or innovate his or her teaching strategy. Eighth way, talk to the students about the importance of grammar. Lecturing them the importance of grammar will create motivation for them to learn. For example, the teacher will say that grammar is very useful, especially in the job. This will tell the students to study and learn grammar since it is very useful in the future. Second to the last way, let the students have their own reflection. After the teaching session of the teacher, it's time for the students to have their own reflection. This will help the teacher in order to determine if the students really understood the discussion and if the student is serious about learning grammar. This is to make sure that they have learnings in such rule. For the 10th way, provide homeworks to enhance the skills of the students. After the discussion, the teacher will provide homeworks. This will help the students practice their skill, and by checking in the next meeting, the teacher can now determine if he or she will now proceed to the next topic. So guys, let's now proceed to our second part of this vlog. Here I have lots of grammar rules here, and I will pick one and I will explain to you what is that grammar rule, and I will give example. Anyway, we are now in discussing the 10th grammar rules. Okay, first grammar rule is okay, here. Add ed to the verbs for the past tense. When we talk about past, we have to add an ed to regular verbs to make the past tense. For example, she danced yesterday. She picked the leaves. However, we also have irregular verbs. These are verbs that are past but do not add ed or d to its past tense form. Like for example, she sang a song. Instead of using she singed a song, we will use the verb sang. She sang a song. Another example, she made a coffee. Instead of using she made a coffee, we will use the verb made. So the sentence would be she made a coffee. So guys, let's have our second rule. Okay, we have the mass nouns. Mass nouns, also known as accountable nouns or non-count nouns. These are nouns representing something that cannot be counted. Mass nouns doesn't have plural form like the popular mass nouns such as sand. We cannot say sands, or blood. We cannot say bloods. It's incorrect. Mass nouns don't have plural form, so they are always used the singular form. That means that you never add es or s to the end. Like for example, the sun burns my feet. We cannot say the sun burns my feet, right? So that the sentence should be the sun burns my feet. And we use burns since sun is singular verb. I mean the singular form. Next is your hair is shiny. We cannot say your hairs are shiny. It should be your hair is shiny. For our third rule, sentence that has and. When the subject of a sentence is composed of two or more nouns or pronouns connected by and, use a plural verb. Like for example, she and her friends are at the fair. Here, our subject are she and her friends. We will use are as our verb since we have two subjects and it is connected by and. Next example is Lisa and Ray are best friends. Lisa and Ray are our subjects and connected by and our verb is are. Fourth rule. Doesn't and don't. When we say doesn't, it is a contraction of does not and it should be used only with a singular subject. Don't is a contraction of do not and it should be used only with a plural subject. Like for example, he doesn't like it. Right? We use doesn't since our subject is only one. He. Another example, they don't like it. We use don't since they as our subject is plural. The exemption to this rule appears in the case of the first person. Like for example, I, me. With these pronouns, the construction don't the construction don't should be used. Like for example, I don't like making tea. I am is only one, but we use don't instead of using doesn't. Fifth rule. Expressions like including, accompanied by, as well as, in addition to, right? Expressions such as with, together with, including, accompanied by, in addition to, or as well as, do not change the number of the subject. If the subject is singular, the verb is to. Like for example, the president, accompanied by his wife, is traveling to India. Here in our example, the subject is president, right? So our verb is. Another example, all of the books, including the other books, are in the bags. Here we use are since our subject is books. Now let's proceed to our sixth rule. The words such as each, anybody, anyone, somebody, someone. Okay. The words each one, everybody, anyone, nobody, somebody, someone, and no one are singular, and it requires a singular verb. Like for example, each of these hot dogs is juicy. Each. We have the word each, so we use is as our verb. Another example, everybody knows Mr. Brooke. We use everybody, so we will use a singular verb. So the sentence would be everybody knows Mr. Brooke. Now we are down to our seventh rule. Here, either or, neither or nor. When we say either or is used when making a positive decision between two or more things. When we say neither or nor is used when the choice is negative or the person wants to say that more than one thing is not true. Like for example here, you may either go to the library or a bookstore to get copy of the required reading materials. In this sentence, the author uses either or because the choice is between two things, either of which will provide positive outcomes. Another example, you may neither go to the mall nor may you go to the movie. In this scenario, the speaker uses neither or nor, and it indicates that there are two possibilities, neither of which is a viable option for you. Our eighth rule, we have the collective nouns. Collective nouns used to refer to an entire group of persons, animals, or things. It therefore includes more than one members. Like for example, a family. It stands for parents or the children. Another example includes staff, committee, choir class. So when to use singular and plural verb in the collective nouns? In singular verb, when all the members of a collective noun are performing an action as a unit. Like for example here, the cast is celebrating for the success of the show. All members of the cast, they are celebrating for the success of the show. All of them. Another example, the staff plays at the art center. Another is when we use plural verb, when the members of a collective noun are performing an action as individuals. Groups are doing something independently. The group is not acting together as a unit. Like for example, the cast have practicing their lines. In the example, each member of the cast, they are practicing their own lines. So it means that they have different lines, so they are not performing as a unit. So we use have as our verb, which is plural verb. Now guys, we are down to our ninth grammar rule. Okay, our ninth grammar rule is your and your. Your is a combination of the words you and are. This is called contraction. So whenever you see whenever you see the word your, you can read it as you are, and it will still make sense. Like for example, you're really intelligent, or you are really intelligent. You're my favorite friend. You are my favorite friend. Your is possessive, meaning that something belongs to you or the person you are speaking to. Like for example, what is your name, right? What is your name? You own that name of yours, right? So what is your name? We're gonna say what is your name, right? It's very incorrect. Another example is, are this your car? It possess something, right? Are this your car? For our last grammar rule, we have phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. Do not be misled by a phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. In verb, it agrees with the subject, not with a noun or pronoun in the phrase. Like for example, one of the boxes is open. Here, our subject, our subject, one only. So we use is. Another example, the people who listen to the music are few. Here, our subject is people. So we use the verb are. So, everyone, that's all for today. I hope that you are learning at the same time earning knowledge. Okay? See you to the next vlog. Bye!